Welcome into the Face Mask Podcast. I think, John, we're working on the Eagles today. We're working on
your team,
like my team, my favorite team. They piss me off so much, but
I mean,
they're my favorite team, and we're gonna hone in on the Miles Sanders led Eagles backfield, which has one too many heads, in my opinion.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. But how do you feel about Miles Sanders? I mean, he's going into his third season, and he's only ever started 11 games in each of his first two seasons thus far, and he's never really torn up the league. Do you think that's something that he can do this season?
I think he absolutely has the chance to. I think he has the talent to be among the league leaders as far as rushing statistics go. Among the league leaders, not at the top, but among them. He obviously didn't become the full-time starter as a rookie until later in the season. I don't want to say obviously. It's not obvious to just anybody, but he wasn't the starter full-time until later into his rookie season. And then, in his second season, he was in and out of the lineup with multiple injuries. He was very, very, very boom bust. I don't know if very is the correct word, but he was boom bust this year. He had some big plays, but overall was kind of inefficient. Fell victim, I would say, to the Eagles season in general. You know, it's very hard for anybody to come out of a bad situation looking good. That's a hard thing to do. Suffered from the Eagles' poor play overall on offense. Suffered from the injuries along the offensive line. And then, of course, Sanders had injury issues of his own. Now his value has plummeted, and I think it's fair to say plummet when you're talking about a guy who was getting drafted at the back end of round 1 last year, to now you're more likely to be able to get him at the end of the third round. And this isn't a running back who fell off the cliff as far as age and production. This is a guy who's still, early in his career, third year, still as the clear starter despite some extra competition. It just hasn't all come together for him yet. Is he a top 5 running back? Not ready to go there. No, there's been nothing to suggest that he's in that conversation yet. But he's got big playability. And with the expectation that the Eagles should be better on offense this year, just out of the fact that there's really nowhere to go but up from where they came from, Sanders should benefit from that. He should benefit from the offensive line getting healthy. Will he be a week in, week out RB1? There's a lot of talent at the running back position this year, especially young running back talent. So, not sure if he'll be consistently top 12, but there's no reason for him to not be consistently top 15.
Yeah, and he finished actually at RB15 in his rookie season. Now in 2020 he fell to RB21, but I think that's a solid floor range for him. Anywhere from RB15 to RB21 with upside for somewhere inside the top 10 if everything really comes together for him.
Right.
And we talked a little bit about this other competition that's on the roster. Yeah, there are one too many heads, but I don't think there's a ton of competition. You're not looking at this stable of Boston Scott and Kerryon Johnson and Kenny Gainwell as backs that you're scared of as far as taking a significant chunk of workload away from Sanders, at least as far as I'm concerned.
So you're not scared of them, but you're annoyed by them, right? There's also, and Jordan Howard is also back in the mix to just add to the list of names.
Right, left him out. Sorry about that.
Right. No, it's just another piece in this weird running back room. It's not going to prevent Sanders from being the main guy. He's going to be the lead back. He's going to get lead back duties. He's going to have that role. But at least 2 of these other guys are going to be involved. Say Jordan Howard is a camp body. That's entirely possible. It's entirely possible that they potentially, go into the season without one of these guys. But they drafted Gainwell. He could absolutely spell Sanders here and there. It's not significant draft capital. He's a 5th round running back. Sanders was taken in the 2nd round a couple of years ago. That discrepancy is significant. But Gainwell, you have to imagine they would like to somehow get him involved. I don't know that Kerryon takes any touches away from Sanders, but if he's in on 3rd down as a pass blocking running back, that's annoying. That's frustrating because that's a potential pass catching opportunity taken away from Sanders. So I love Sanders' value right now at the end of the 3rd round, and if these names are helping bake that into Sanders' ADP, then that's all the better for Sanders, especially for this year. It's good value. But there's reason to believe that the Eagles don't foresee utilizing him as a true bell cow.
Now the Eagles, they went out and they claimed a running back off of waivers in 2019 too. They claimed from the Lions, just Jason Huntley, who was drafted in the 4th round, I believe. And like Lynn Bowden and a couple of running backs last season, which is weirdly, they just got cut after they got drafted. And they had some sort of capital. But the same thing is happening. It happened to Kerryon Johnson. Now, you look at how much work Jason Huntley got for the Eagles. It was nothing. Did he play in the last game? Is that it?
No.
Right. So Kerryon Johnson, the book is out on him. His knees are shot. I don't know. Yeah, does he make the roster just based off of the fact that he's 24 and the coaching staff or GM might have liked him when he came out? Sure. But I don't think he's getting a ton of work. I don't think you need to be worried about that. And to the point that you're making about maybe he's in on pass blocking work. And that just means that, Miles Sanders isn't getting a potential reception. I don't know how much he's going to see the field because he's not a threat on the field.
No, he's not.
In any way,
unless they
shape,
feel
or
like
form.
he was underutilized in Detroit, which has always been a possibility.
I mean, he might have been if it wasn't for the fact that his knees are broken down. I mean, he's come out and admittedly said, kind of famously last season around this time, that DeAndre Swift can do things that I just can't. His knees and his hips move in ways that I just can't. I can't do that. The wiggle stuff, and I'm paraphrasing. But like he wears a knee brace permanently now. That's a permanent fixture in this guy's just day-to-day.
Are we talking about on the football field or day-to-day life?
Football field.
Okay, I was good. I mean,
it's not day-to-day life.
All right.
Not day-to-day life. But on the football field, he is wearing a knee brace from here on out. Period.
Okay.
That I feel like that says everything you need to know about this guy. He's not a threat to the RB1 in this offense. I think the guy that is a threat, who you did mention, is Kenny Gainwell. But if you look at his profile right now, and that's all we can really look at right now, because we obviously don't have any NFL stats or NFL workload to go off of, he profiles as Boston Scott's eventual replacement.
Right, he's a small, he's a scat
He's
back.
5'8", 200 pounds, so he has good BMI, and that's what you're looking for. And I guess as Darren Sproles-esque type scat back, the Eagles seem to like those types of guys, but he's not.
We love little guys. We love BMI.
He's more quick than he is fast. He ran a 4.52 adjusted for his 40.
For the 40 hand time, yeah.
Right. So and the draft community was high on him. Obviously, the NFL community was not, because he fell to the 5th round. But the draft community kind of viewed him as, there are a lot of people that viewed him as the RB 4 or 5 in this class.
Right, and it didn't pan out that way.
But his ceiling is looking like he's gonna be more like a Nyheim Hines if he reaches his ceiling type back.
Right, I agree.
And I don't think that's something you're not worried about drafting Antonio Gibson because of Nyheim Hines being there. You're not. So I don't think you should really be worried about
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Whatever. Whatever. I always get those two scat backs mixed up. This is not the first pod I've done this. Who's the scat back from the Washington Redskins?
J.D. McKissic.
There you go. I've done this before, and I've had you. I had to ask you to spit the name out, but whatever.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully I don't have to. I'll help you if I have to.
Thanks. But. Brain fart. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
But the point that I was making, it's still a valid point. You're not worried about Jonathan Taylor's workload or fantasy production because Nyheim Hines is there. You're not worried about Antonio Gibson's workload and fantasy production because J.D. McKissic is there. I got it. Yes. Thank you. I don't think you should be worried about Kenny Gainwell or about Miles Sanders' workload just because Kenny Gainwell is there. I really don't.
No. I guess the last thing would be that Jalen Hurts is going to vulture some rushing production, but that's built into a lot of NFL offenses these days. And a mobile quarterback is just like more the norm than the expectation at this point. So, that's something you're going to come across with Miles Sanders. But also you had a little bit of that with Carson Wentz. So not as much, not to the degree that we expect from Jalen Hurts as far as rushing production. But it was a factor of the offense when Wentz was, still playing games at a competent enough level where he was starting week to week.
And I do believe when we're talking about rushing quarterbacks and their effects on running backs, there are two types. There's the goal line rushing quarterback in a Josh Allen who does vulture goal line touches from backs, but which are much more valuable. We saw with Lamar Jackson in his MVP season. Mark Ingram got like 13 touchdowns because he was getting all this red zone work. And we saw...
Mark Ingram was the RB8,
right, yep. We saw with Kyler Murray in that offense. We just got finished talking about Kenyon Drake. He had 18 touchdowns over the past... Since he in the 22 games that he's had on the Arizona Cardinals.
Wow,
that's an insane amount of touchdowns. And he did that with a rushing quarterback but he's not the type of rushing quarterback who vultures red zone touches. I don't think. I think we're dealing with the same
Hurts
type of situation here. He's a threat to break chunk yardage in the middle of the field.
Pick up a 25-yarder. In the
he's
middle.
He's going to get some red zone rushing production just because they're probably going to scheme for him to do so. But
couple touchdowns on the season. Yeah.
If you're looking at historically this profile for a rushing quarterback and running back tandem, I think we're looking at what could be his best season as far as just getting touchdowns this season.
Yeah, because I guess you would probably profile Wentz as more of a goal line vulture than a guy like Hurts, just because Wentz is bigger. So from that perspective, that plays in Sanders' favor this year because Hurts is less of a goal line threat. So. Yeah, no, I'd say that's a good point that he's a value in the third round now. So, especially in best ball, if you can get to the third round and he's there and you don't have to pay, if you're not if you don't feel like you're making a significant reach, Miles Sanders makes a lot of sense there. Will he see a heavy bell cow workload? Hasn't so far in the 2 seasons that he's played. But he's shaping up to be in as good a situation as he's been to this point in his career, with a revamped and healthy offensive line, with a different style of offense that could potentially have a bit more threat to move the ball through the air, could open things up on the ground, could make Miles Sanders a super enticing option in the third round of drafts this year.
Yeah, I'm definitely in on him in the third round. Definitely.
Take him.
I mean, he's a guy that I bought in the offseason in a dynasty league because I believe in him. I believe in his opportunity here. In the short term,
big playability. Right. He has big playability, and that's what you're going for. Obviously, that's a winner in best ball, and it's fun in dynasty to have young running backs with upside. So,
So yeah, I mean,
I understand.
we like Sanders all around, and we're not super worried about any of these ancillary pieces at the running back position.
We're annoyed. We're not scared.
But if I wouldn't hate it if there was a Nyheim Hines like explosion from Kenny Gainwell, and he does find himself within the top 25 running backs at season's end. That'd be fun for the rookie. So I'm not from based off of what I said, I might have seemed down on the guy, but I'm honestly excited to see what he could do, because he was a guy that I did rank in the top half of the running back rankings
for running back prospects
coming into the year. So
yeah, I mean, we'll see what his role is. It's likely to be minimal. It could expand as the season goes on, but that just plays to me more to as I think as the season begins. It's in the beginning of the season. We could see Sanders getting a lot of work, just out of being the veteran and having that game experience and being the clear and obvious starter. So he has a chance to get off to a hot start. Sanders does. But yeah, Gainwell would be a guy that I could see maybe mixing in later in the season. Maybe he's spelling Sanders here and there. But you're not worried about Sanders coming off the field more than, just to get a breather here and there. He absolutely has low end RB1 potential, and in the third round, it's worth a buy.
What do you guys think? Do you guys think we're completely off base? Do you guys think like somebody in a mutual dynasty league that me and Nick are in, do you think that Kenny Gainwell is going to be the next Adrian Peterson? Are you?
Jesus. That's not going to happen.
Put your thoughts in the comment section below. We would love to hear what you have to say.
Somebody roast John for that.
Me?
For that, yeah. Somebody roast you in the comments.
No, it wasn't me.
Oh well, I'm roasting you for even putting it into the universe.
It was our good friend Manny, but but thank you guys for listening. This is the Face Mask Podcast. We'll be back with another backfield breakdown. We're coming with the Bills next, so tune in tomorrow, and thank you for listening.